times it's being used against us. And
Hmm.
I think Aaron was saying like technology was never made for us. And I think you've said that too, Shane. Like
Yeah.
it was never intended for us. And at the same time, it's been given to us. Like, I don't think that men are smart enough to put together the computer and everything. Like, even if you think about it, the internet itself, like Wi-Fi, is so mysterious. Like, how in the world? Like, how? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do
Yeah.
people actually think about that? Like, how does it work? Like, I just push a button and then all of a sudden I'm just connected to this thing, and we can communicate with each other and everything. Like, it's like truly mind-blowing when you actually think about it. But people don't think about it. They're just like, "Oh yeah, let me hook up with the Wi-Fi and whatever." They don't even consider it twice. But like even this iPhone, like you were saying, Cody,
Hmm.
it they keep wanting to improve on it. I mean, it was huge just for the fact that we can have this mobile device, talk to someone, text someone, send pictures, and it's just like, how much better can you make it? But it's just, I mean, it's already fully functional. We have the internet, we have uh, everything, and yet it's like not enough. It's like a fire that is never has enough fuel to burn. You know what I mean? It's just raging, and it's gonna keep on going.
Yeah. And what's crazy is they're making some of these phones now with the camera lenses in them. Somehow, I can't wrap my head around how, but like these Samsung, what is it, the S24 Ultra or S26 Ultra? That thing can zoom in to like 125x. That's like the Nikon P1000, close
Mhm.
to it. I mean, seriously, anything around 100 times magnification in a daggone phone with this little thing,
Mhm. It's insane.
that's it's insane. It's got to be some form of sorcery, witchcraft, magic, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's
It doesn't have enough depth.
no,
And that's with a case on. And that's not enough
Yeah,
depth to get that much zoom.
yeah,
right.
You
like
have to,
yeah,
because it's weird.
it's
Yeah,
weird.
man, and I I love that we're talking about all this, but if I can steer us back on track with the whole Mandela effect, you wanna talk a little bit more on that, Cody, and just some more of your thoughts, because I know you've been looking
Yeah.
into this a lot, and it's something that really intrigues me. And something else I'm gonna bring up, which is very controversial, I know, and I even struggle with it just a little bit. But some people even say that Bible verses have been changed because of all this. Like, we're not remembering correctly certain Bible verses, or they just never said that. So one in particular, which I cannot, uh, I have a hard time with this one, and you guys can let me know if you have heard this, and I'll just say it, and you just tell me what's the first thing that comes to your head. So in the Bible, it says that the lion shall lay next to the what?
The lamb.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So um, it actually never said lion. Apparently, it's the wolf.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I'm like 99.999% sure that it always said the lion and the lamb. I don't know why it's saying wolf and lamb now. That is
It
weird.
does, and it is weird because that's what it says. It does say wolf,
Yeah.
and I can't wrap my mind around that. I've talked to a lot of people about that, and they all remember the lion and the lamb, and it's I mean, there's pictures and even old Bible commentary that is talking about it. So, like, it's like they weren't able to change a commentary somehow, but in the actual scripture itself, it says wolf now, and that like it just
Yeah.
There,
when I saw that, I'm like, no, that's a mistake. I looked it up myself. And I'm like, what? It does say wolf.
Yeah.
there's even
So weird.
there's even gospel songs written about that verse that says "Lion and the Lamb." What's that
Hmm.
song? The Lion and the Lamb. Dang it, can't think of the name of the song. I'll look it up in a minute. But
Yeah.
yeah, another thing that's in there now that I never ever remember being in the Bible is Easter. I do not remember, and I've read the entire Bible front to back about a decade ago, and I swear Easter was not mentioned in it back then. At least I don't
Really.
remember Easter, like the word Easter
Yeah.
or the
And it's
celebration of it.
Oh,
yeah, and it's actually the word Easter is only mentioned in the King James Bible. In all other translations, it's translated as Passover.
Yeah,
But honestly, when it says Passover, it really doesn't make sense because as some of us know, Easter is Ishtar, celebration of the fertility goddess.
yeah.
And if Herod was some sort of heathen, like I believe he was, celebrating this day because um, if you look at it, it's saying he was going to. It's in the book of Acts. I think it's chapter 12. He was about to execute Peter, but he was going to do it after Easter. It says, and it was right after, and it also talks about like the days of unleavened bread. And if you if you kind of look at that, it just doesn't make sense why he would why would he be worried about some Jewish holiday or something like that? You know what I mean? Like I just kind of feel like, oh, he's celebrating his own day, just like, this is another controversy, but um just like birthdays, a lot of people celebrate birthdays and stuff like that. But if you look at the Bible, birthdays were only observed by Pharaoh and Herod. The word birthday is when that's used. And I think also Job's children, where it's saying that everyone was observing his own day, I think they were celebrating their birthday too. And it's just weird if you think about it in that way, because Job was actually sacrificing for them because I think he believed that they could be sinning. And so that's just another topic for another day, but I just think that I don't know, it's just interesting that these certain words like birthday, Easter are in the Bible there, and you just look at what was happening around that.
It is weird. Dude,
yeah.
this is blowing my mind too. You said so I didn't even type in lion or anything. I just typed in Isaiah 11:6 and there's like maybe one or two of wolves and lambs. It's all lions with lambs on Google
Right.
Images.
Right.
Like I didn't see, but there's one wolf and lamb. There's one. But
Yeah,
the rest of
there's
them are all lions.
yeah.
That's how I remember it as Lion and the Lamb.
Me too. Oh, there's one other wolf and the lamb. There's one. But like we have a big poster at my church of a big old lion laying with a lamb.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah.
it's kind of like um the Apocrypha, you know, maybe they can change little stuff. Now, the big one that I don't like is taking out um you know, what you actually said this scripture earlier, David, talking about these kind of demons can only be cast out through prayer and fasting. Yeah, that was
hmm,
removed through a lot new translations. Now that's a big
It
deal.
was.
yeah,
That is a big deal.
yeah.
But I
Yeah, you exchanged your sword for a butter knife.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
dude, I like
it's
that.
just that's
Dude, that's a good one.
yeah, because I mean that's very vital. If Jesus said this kind of devil comes not out but by prayer and fasting, that's the only way. And he specifically says that. And when you take that out, you're taking away knowledge, you're taking away power from the Christian. You're taking away our weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
don't
and
take.
so and so that's why just something like that, that alone, why I have a problem with newer translations. You could call me crazy all you want, but I don't care because I've done the research. I know what I'm talking about, and
Mhm.
I know what they've changed.
Yeah, don't take my
I'm with
sword and
you.
give me a butter knife.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I like that one.
They're doing it to
Oh, sure.
biblical cosmology too, really badly in these newer translations. The message really
Yeah.
hurts the true earth, man, and God's true creation. I mean, it finds
Mhm.
any way it can. I think it even says globe in it or sphere, um,
Wow.
instead
Well,
of circle and things like that. Um, you guys care uh, handling it for 1 second? Let me run the bathroom real quick.
Oh, you're good.
Cool.
sure, go
I'll be
ahead.
right back.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
always cut this out in final production too, so we
Okay.
could just
Yeah,
kind of hang out for a sec, Shane, if you want.
sure. Um,
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know.
don't
Was
take my
there
sword and give me a butter knife, dude. What are you doing?
I know, right? I want
That's
that
a
butter
good
knife,
one.
bro.
Yeah, I got to remember that one. Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
going to do with a butter knife? You know,
Yeah.
spread some
Nothing.
butter? Nothing. Oh, that was good.
Nothing. Yeah. So, is there anything else that you can think of that has to do with the Mandela effect and stuff like that? Or
Yeah, I wanted to bring up a good example that's not been mentioned yet.
okay.
Uh, yeah, it's a well, I'll save it for when Cody gets back.
Yeah, yeah. That way we don't I don't
I
want you to
know. Yeah, don't want me to what?
I don't want you to ruin it for me. I want to be a hear it for the first time when he gets here.
Yeah, I'm sure he's heard about it.
Yeah.
What is it?
That was quick. You
Yeah.
can pee faster than me, bro.
Oh, my bathroom's just right there.
No, I've got prostate problems. It takes me a minute.
All right,
Do
so
you really?
go ahead.
Yeah, dude, I
Oh
just had a
no.
severe prostate infection. I had to go to urgent care. Like, it was bad, dude.
Oh
I was
man.
running a fever and everything. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But so here another example of the Mandela effect, and I'm sure you've heard of it, Cody. You too, probably, Ricardo. But the movie Shazam with Sinbad in it. I think he
Mhm.
even admitted that he made that movie, but they're saying that movie never existed. Have you heard about that?
I have, but I don't remember that movie. But a lot of my friends do. They were like, yeah, because I seen the Shaq one, and that one is the one I saw. So
That was Kazam, wasn't it? The one with Shaq, or what was
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That one. But a lot of people I know swear by it. They remember the movie,
Hmm.
and
I remember.
I don't
Yeah.
ever remember seeing that one. But a lot of people I know did.
Yeah,
Dang.
I did see the one with Shaq. I remember that, but
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely have this weird memory deep in the memory bank of that Shazam one. Um, but I don't know. It's hard to say. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain other ones that I do know for certain, and that's not one of them, unfortunately.
Didn't they change the Wizard of Oz too? Seems like I
Mm-hmm.
saw
Yeah.
a video on TikTok about
What
that
was
where
it?
they
Um. someone just asked why they call it the Mandela Effect. It came from Nelson Man. A lot of people have a memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison, but he actually ended up getting out, and he's still alive. I think he did end up dying, or did he? But he
Yeah,
didn't
he
die
died
when people
again.
thought he did. Um, he died again.
Yeah. Poor guy died twice.
I know.
um,
Hey,
so
hey, be born again. Don't die again.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. The
He's
Wizard of Oz one is in the background. You could see one of the Munchkins like committing unalivement, and
what?
What?
in the original,
Unalivement? I like
Mhm.
that.
yeah, for
Yeah.
TikTok.
For
Yeah.
But
TikTok and YouTube.
yeah, one of the Munchkins wanted the lead role in the Lollipop Guild, and he didn't get it, so he got upset, and he took a
In
rope.
the act.
Yeah, took a rope, and in the background you see him swing on the set
Swing?
by his neck. Yeah, man.
Oh, dang.
So they ended up editing that and turning it in, making
Yeah.
it look like a bird in the background, like doing something. So post-production editing was a thing back then. You know, they try to say for like the they try to say different things like that didn't come about till later in the 90s and stuff. But they could edit stuff after that. Now, I don't know if that's a Mandela effect but that's the thing I know about that movie that was weird.
Okay, so to piggyback on the comment of that person, it's is it called the Mandela effect because after they had this theory about Nelson Mandela and how he died, but he actually didn't die, they started noticing a lot of other things that were a little off, and so they originated it after him because it's like, whoa, we had this strange memory about him, and then it's like, whoa, we got all these other strange memories. It's like when we thought Nelson Mandela died. Let's call it the Mandela effect or whatever, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what's weird is CERN, the year that people started thinking that. Well, okay. So he supposedly got out in the 90s, right? But then
Mm.
that's when people were like, wait a minute. I don't remember it that way. You know? So then they called it they called it that when they started noticing more stuff. But then you look at CERN's first particle collision, and it was literally that time. It was when that happened. It was when, like, right before he got out of prison. So
Mhm.
it could have something to do with CERN, and I think that's why people connect it to CERN is because of that timeline there. Which I didn't. I mean, I didn't know until I started looking on their website of their history and stuff. But
Mhm.
it's weird. I don't know the cause. You know, a lot of people time travel is definitely one of the better answers for it. But like the more I look into this quantum thing, the more I look into this strange, like I almost feel like we experience things based on what we believe. So I think if we believe and are lovers of truth and seek truth and find truth, we experience that. We live by that. But then there's the people running the different program. Like you meet an NPC and it's almost playbook stuff. It's like you already know what their answer is going to be to things. You already know what names they're going to call you, what they're going to their comebacks. They're scripted. And that's weird to me. So that makes me think of that's the program they run. That's the what they see. So I'm wondering, those of us who have broken out of the matrix if the Mandela Effect is almost like remnants of after the awakening or something, like there's still some things lingering, or I don't know. It's hard to tell.
So with CERN and all the propaganda that we've seen on these particle colliders, like in Stranger Things, it was
Blood
also
smoke.
in the Avenger movie, and it's like opening up some sort of portal or different dimension, and it's like all these false memories and the connection with CERN. Would that also give credence to this weird like multiverse thing where it's like, oh no, well they got Curious George with the tail, and they got Curious George without a tail, and they're both Curious George, and you're both right. You're just looking at one in this reality and one in that reality, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
Hmm.
So, all right. So the multiverse thing. So check this out. So God created us. He knew us before we were in our mother's womb, and he had a purpose for our lives. Now, here's how I illustrate this. So when we're born, right, God has this blank canvas, and he has all the paint set out for our purpose, and he intends to make this beautiful artwork of what his purpose is for us, what our purpose is through him here, right? And that's design. Now,
Mhm.
the component that messed with design from the beginning was the component of free will and choice. When that component was added through Lucifer, I mean, that was, the archangels was like the test run there of will. And the element of will was God relinquishing power for the sake of love. Showing unconditional true love, agape love, is relinquishing some power and control for the sake of it, hoping that they'll choose the right path, but knowing that they might not. That's true love. So then
Mhm.
Lucifer comes and defies God and wants to be God and gets that jealous spirit of envy and pride, and then he's cast down, right? So a new creation then was made, us, which he also did the same thing. Despite his past mistakes, it's not a mistake. Despite the backlash, we'll say, he went again for the sake of love, because otherwise you're not going to get authentic love if you're just programmed to obey every command. That's not true love. That's just design. That's inanimate, just design. There's no real love there. Now, choice, though, that's true. Now, if he had this canvas setting out with all the paints that were going to make our purpose of what he intended us to have in this realm, and we got old enough to get in the paint, right? So we start engaging in sin in the world. Be not conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So we start grabbing the paint and making a mess of it. So now what was supposed to be this beautiful picture of the purpose and our calling through Christ on this earth, now we've made a mess because we've taken it into our own hands and we've gotten into the paint and we've put it all over this canvas. Now, here's the cool thing though, is God is so creative, so brilliant, so perfect that it doesn't matter how much of a mess we've made on this canvas. He can stand back and look at it and be like, you know what? I can work with that. So me, for instance, I lived a life of drug lifestyle, going to prison and all this stuff. Well, now those elements are now incorporated into the bigger picture. Now I have a testimony related to that. Paul's the greatest example. Paul, he was the perfect example of grace because he lived a life of what he thought was right, which was murdering Christians. And now he was radically saved, healed, and saved. Now, I say all that to say this. The multiverse thing is crazy, but It might have to be, almost, in a way, because if God did design a path, then there is fate and there is design and there is destiny in motion.
Hmm.
We, though, can go against that, meaning that
Get in the
we
way.
have to be able to create a different reality for ourselves because of our will. But there's always an ongoing and running version that followed his path the entire time. What he intended is always occurring, and we can always go back to it. So that's the beauty too, is even if we go off course and go completely against what God had for us, it seems as if there's always his intended purpose, almost like running in the background, that we can always get back on track with. So
Yeah.
if you look at it that way, multiverse doesn't sound too crazy. It almost seems like it would be plausible just for the fact of redemption and repentance. That there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
always a timeline where it's going to work out, you know?
You can always course correct if you went down the wrong path. And, yeah, that's like you're saying, that's not what God intended for your life, but you can always come back on that path that he had laid out for you to begin with. You might have took a little detour, which wasn't profitable, but
Mhm.
you can always get back on track.
Yeah. And that's not to say that once we do get back on track, that our mistakes never happened. But, you know, those mistakes do exist in the reality that we're in. But it's like they have to now be incorporated into the design. So it's like that's what a testimony ends up being, right? And it's always usable. See, I don't think that God put me through the things I've been through necessarily, but I do believe that He recognizes the things that I've put myself through, and then uses those to show me His forgiveness, His love, His restoration, and then molds that into a new testimony for those who have veered off the same way. But then there's
Yeah.
always this end result. It's kind of like the which we're talking about, Mandela, time travel, and things like that, multiverse, which reminds me, all that reminds me of you guys heard of Project Looking Glass? That's kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
a time travel thing, or a looking into the future thing. And that
Different
whistleblower,
outcomes.
yeah. And that whistleblower said that everything bottlenecks into one thing. You know, it all leads to the same place in the end.
Hmm.
And that's the apocalypse, which is
Yeah.
the awakening.
Yeah.
The all the knowledge, all the things that were hidden, ellipsing, coming back around and being unveiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that that could be an interesting episode in of itself, is the whole Project Looking Glass. And
Hmm.
it's it's almost like if you can see a certain outcome in the future and you intervene to change it, like, does it have ramifications? Because that's really not how it was intended to be. And I know this is kind of this might be a stupid example, but there was an old movie called Final Destination. So some person had a vision. They were all
Yeah.
supposed to die. They stopped it, and it's like death came and chased them because it's like inevitable kind of thing. And that might be a stupid example, but
No,
I'm
it's
just saying,
perfect.
like, can't
No, it's
like
a good example.
if you're like seeing through to the future and you change the outcome somehow, like what effects does it have in real time? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thought experiment for sure.
It's good. It's true.
Definitely. Yeah. I like those movies. Those are really good. All of them. Those are like 4 or 5 of them. The
Yeah,
final.
I think I only saw the first couple, and that was many, many years ago. I just remembered that in particular. It's like But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. It's very uh, crazy.
Yeah. That book, not to get us off topic or anything, but that book, Baron Trump, or whatever it's called, Baron Trump and His Marvelous Adventures,
Mhm.
dude, that was written in the 1800s, supposedly, and pretty much almost all of it has came true and been like extremely accurate. And
Yeah.
according to that book, Trump's going to be the last president. So we'll
Yeah,
see, but I don't know. That's pretty wild
yeah,
too.
and he's a time traveler.
He's yeah, Baron Trump's a time traveler in it. So
Mm,
See,
I need to get my hands on that book and read it.
that book, The Last President, it is super strange how it kind of lines up. And I think they're following a script. And
Yeah.
it's like the way I see it is like, there's a couple other examples of this. Werner von Braun wrote a book called The Mars Project, and Elon was the main character, and it was about colonizing Mars, and that's what Elon wants to do
Mhm.
eventually with SpaceX. And it's like they're following this script, and it makes me wonder about, you know, that whole thing with the Final Destination thing. Yeah. If you see the future, know how it ends up, you change something. I do believe that there is an inevitable, something will happen. Like God's design will go down. All Satan can really do is deceive people from what's happening and make them think something else is going on. But in the end, I do believe that things will shift into what they need to be. And
mm,
I've felt this before. I don't know if you guys have had these experiences of life where you're at this point of life where a decision is to be made. And the result of that decision is going to play out the way it's going to play out. Doesn't matter what you do or say. These people are going to feel the way that they feel about the choice that you made. And there's no way to convince them otherwise. They are just, this is where it's at, and that's what's going to happen, and there's no way out of it. Like, I've felt times like that in my life where it's like, okay, this is happening, and that's it. And I'm going to make a decision, and this person's going to feel this way about the decision, and there's nothing that I can do or say to make them feel otherwise. It's like it's an exiting point. There's times where people, they've been in your life for a certain season, and then they exit, and it's like you can't do anything about it. It's weird. There's times like that where I've felt it, and I've known that that's the case. Like this one time I was in Texas, and there was this just straight up, I don't know, pyramid scheme cult. I don't know what it was. Felt cultish and pyramid schemish. Well, I had to kind of like expose it, in the time. And, I'm a pastor and things, and we had people around us, and I just had to say, hey, this ain't it. I'm not following this anymore. I'm staying here at the Airbnb and providing a safe space for anyone else who doesn't want to go to this final meeting at this place. And that's my choice, and that's my decision. And of course, half the people were like, okay, yeah, we see it too. We're going to stay with you. And then half the people were like, no, you're wrong about this. And we're just so mad at me, dude. And I was so sure, you know what I mean? We went to this place, and you could just feel the presence, and they just weren't about what we thought they were about, in the beginning. And there was a very clear demonic presence happening. And I believe there was witchcraft going on and stuff.
Mm.
And I got far away from it. But it's like there was this separation that happened. So half the people are still my friends today. We're still hanging out, everything's cool, and then the other half that didn't see it and didn't like my choice, as a pastor, they're gone. They don't talk to me anymore. And it's like, still to this day, they didn't see or feel the presence that I saw and felt in that moment. And that just felt like destiny. It felt designed, And it makes me wonder how many things are like that right now in the world, where things are just going to play out the way that they play out. There's nothing we can do or say about it. They just have to run their course. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. So, do you have any final thoughts, anything else that you'd like to touch on before we close off for the evening?
Yeah, so look into double slit experiment for sure, especially non-believers out there. If you guys are on the fence, or you know, or whatever, and you have trouble with faith, or whatever it is, look into that and be open-minded, and look into the possibility that you live in a place that's created by God, and you are special and called for purpose. And for those of you who are in the truth spreading and stuff, don't let the demonic forces bully you into being quiet. We're all us three on this screen right now. We're going through our journeys, and we felt this pull and this tug on our spirit, just the same that you felt to open this podcast today. And we've been on this journey, and we felt the tug to the point that we decided to say, okay, it's time to start talking about this stuff. It's time to start spreading the truth. And I believe that that's what this awakening is about, is the more of us stop fearing the world and what our friends and family are going to think about our crazy selves talking about this kind of thing, and just doing it. Because eventually we're not going to be a minority. We're not going to be, just a few crazy people. We're going to be the people of the world, the voice of the majority, saying, you know what? Enough's enough, narrative. You've crumbled. You're done for. We've exposed it. We've shed light on that darkness. And now we're here to stay. I'm ready to do God's work, man.
Amen, brother.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's awesome, man. I don't think I could add anything else to that, but do you got anything, Shane, you'd like to say?
No, that's hard to follow up right there. Just question the narrative, and don't trade in your sword for a butter knife.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless you both, and God bless all you listeners. We love you guys. We thank you for all the support you've been giving us. Truly appreciate it, guys, that you just hang out with us, have this conversation, and just have this great time of fellowship. But yeah, question the narrative, guys, and